me and remembered when I talked to Miss Flo. And so I'm getting gas, and Kinsley had taken like $25 from her brother, and she said that she was getting weed from this dude, but like she said that as I was getting gas, and I never saw her give money to this guy that's her ex, or in exchange or nothing like that. So I thought she was just joking with me. And so I get gas and all that, and we leave from there and take Jonathan home at Pine Haven. And then from there, we go to Walmart, and Kinsley gets this like drawstring bag out of my truck, and she goes into Walmart. And she steals a 3-pack of air duster, and she walks out, and she gets in the vehicle, and from there, we go to the cemetery.
Whose idea was that?
To do the duster. Kinsley mentioned it, and then me and Rocky fell in and was like, yeah, sure, because Rocky hadn't done anything since he'd been back from being sent off, so we just all agreed to do it, but Kinsley mentioned it. And so from there we go to the cemetery off of Sawmill Road. I think that's what the road is anyways, right by UAM. And so we get there and we pull up, and we're all just sitting there and huffing the duster and stuff like that.
Was it a cemetery?
Mm-hmm. And we sit there for a while, and then me and Ben are texting. He asked if I can come see him, and I said I'll let you know in about 5 minutes. And he said okay. Well, I don't know, 5-10 minutes later, I let him know. I was like, yeah, we're on the way. I was like, but I have a couple friends with me. And he said okay, and then we go from the cemetery straight to Ben's, and I asked him if he could meet me at the end of the road by the bridge and stuff, and he said yeah. And then he texted me back and said to pull up at the dumpsters and just pick him up there. So I get to the dumpsters, and we sit there probably 10-15 minutes, and I didn't think that he had his phone, because he said that it was fixing to die, so he was going to leave it at the house to charge. So he gets to my truck, and as soon as he gets in the truck, we leave there and go to the river. And we get there, and we're all sitting around my truck, and me, Ben, and Rocky are on my driver's side. And me and Rocky are huffing the duster, and Ben was talking about how he couldn't fail a drug test, so he didn't want to do it. Well, Rocky convinced him to do it, and so I showed him the right way to do it, and so Ben starts doing it, and
where were y'all at then?
At the river. We were at the sandbar, standing outside my truck, and then Ben, there's been there like these 2 people were standing out there that Ben said worked at Huddle House, and they had a fire going, and so Ben and Kinsley went to my tailgate, and me and Rocky are sitting in my truck. He's in the driver's side, and I'm on the passenger side, and Rocky kisses me. And whenever I pushed Rocky off of me...
Rocky kissed you, or did you kiss Rocky?
No, I looked at Rocky, and then he kissed me. And that's why Ben got so mad at me at the river. And so I get out of my truck, and Ben comes to the passenger side, and that's whenever he called his mom and said that he'd be home at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and then blocked the number off of Kinsley's phone.
Wait, stop for a minute. Before y'all got to the river, y'all was doing dust while y'all were in the truck. Right after y'all picked Ben up.
Mm-hmm.
Did Ben get mad at you for doing dust?
Mm-hmm. He told me that we talked about it and talked about like doing drugs and stuff, and then
he kind of lecture you
a little bit. He said that I needed to stop or whatever, so he took the can away from me, and then he was like, it's either me or the duster. And I just looked at him, and Kinsley opened the door, and Kinsley was like, well, what's the plan? And he said, shut the effing door. And so shut the door, and then I put he handed me the can back whenever he said shut the door, and so I put it in Kinsley's lap, because I was fixing to drive back to the river, so that's whenever we went to the river. And then...
How long have you known Ben?
I've known of Ben for a few years, but like hanging out with him, just I don't know, a month or so, because him and Mason came over to my house, and I've known Mason for forever, basically for years, and so it was supposed to be just Ben coming over to the house, and then he was like, "Well, I brought Mason along," and then I wasn't supposed to be around Ben or Mason after that, and I didn't tell my parents that I was going over to Ben's house. This has been a week, so probably 2.5, 3 weeks ago, and I go and spend the day with them, and then the next day I spend that day with them, and so that was it. And then going to the river a week ago, that was
About
it.
what time would you say that y'all got to the river?
Probably close to midnight, I'd say, because it was after 10 when Kinsley came outside of Walmart with the air duster. So probably around 11:30 or close to midnight or so. But anyways, he gets off the phone with his mom, and we're sitting there, and he shines a light in my face because I was huffing the duster, and I blacked out twice, 2 or 3 times, and he shined this light in my face, and he told me he was mad because me and Rocky kissed, and I asked him, I was like, "You didn't see me push him off?" And he was like, "No." So after that, I hit the duster again, and I black out, and I start taking my clothes off.
Where were
And
you at when you was hitting the duster?
on like the passenger side of my truck, standing right by the door. And so I'm just in underwear, and I go and get in the water, like 2 or 3 inches of water, and I'm sitting there, and then I see Ben, like he took the duster away from me whenever I blacked out, and he threw it in the river. And then I took all my clothes off and went and got in the water. And then the bottle of duster went to the left over there, like on the bank by the swing that has the steering wheel on it. And so I see him walk over there. He's got this light that like goes on your head, And so he takes all of his clothes off, everything, and he jumps in the water. And I can hear the duster bottle, like him spraying the duster. And he gets pretty close to me, and he was asking me to come over to him, and I said no. And he asked me again, and I said no, if you want to talk to me, you can come over here. So he swam over there to me, and he was on his stomach, and he asked me if I wanted to hit the duster. And I was being a smart aleck, and I was like, I didn't think I was allowed to because he took it from me, and he was mad at me for it. And so he huffed it, and then he blacked out, and his face went underwater, so I picked his head up, like by the back of his head, like by his hair, and I picked his head up. And
How deep do you think the water was right
not
there?
deep enough. Like when his face was down, the water only came up to about like right here, but it was deep enough for him to like
So y'all were on the edge.
like right where the water hit the sand. And I told him he needed to quit, and so right whenever he came back, he hits it again, and he does the same thing. And I pick his head up by his hair, and I grab the sides of his face, like holding his head up. And he was coughing and stuff, like coughing up water where he just got a little bit, And then he gets up and he goes like to hit this duster. But I grab him before he can, and he's fixing to run off into the water. And I grabbed his arm like he was like this, and so I grabbed him just about like that, and I yanked him back. Well, he snatched away from me and tried to hit me, and he was probably 3 or 4 feet away from me, so he couldn't reach me. And I take the dust away from him, and I put it behind me. And he ended up getting behind me and running around me, and I couldn't get to him, and he dove into the water after he hit this duster. But when he hit it, he didn't let it out and then catch a breath of air. He held it in, and he jumped in the water. And he never came up. I never saw bubbles. I looked for him, and I tried to get Rocky to come help me. So he comes out there, and he strips down to his boxers, and he's in the water helping me. I mean, he just kind of stood there and like looked around, but you know, I dove underwater looking for him and was kicking with my feet trying to find him, and I couldn't find him. And so,
how deep of water did you go into?
Looking for him to where I couldn't touch, so probably 6 feet of water at the deepest. I went, I don't know, probably 15, 20 feet off the bank looking for him. And I couldn't find him, so...
How long do you think it was before you hollered at Rocky for help that you had been looking for Ben?
Not even like 2 minutes.
Wasn't that long?
Because as soon as his body got underwater, I went to where he dove into the water and I was looking for him. Like, I went down a little bit and back around. And so that's whenever I hollered at Rocky. I had to holler at him like 3 or 4 times before he heard me. And I told him to get out there. I was like, hurry up. And so he got out there and he started stripping all of his clothes off. And he took one of my, I had a flashlight in my truck and he grabbed it and was using it to help me. But then I got Kinsley to move my truck and like point the headlights out there so if anything happened we could see him. And I never saw bubbles or anything. And then after a while we got out of the water.
How long do you think that y'all looked for him before y'all got out of the water?
Probably an hour in the water. And then we get out of the water and they're steadily telling me, oh, he's okay, you know, he's fine, he's just messing with you because he was mad at you. Well, we just sit there by my truck for a minute, and then while we were in the water, I tried to get Kinsley to go over there and get his clothes to see, you know, maybe he got out of the water or something and grabbed his clothes, and Kinsley couldn't find him because she wasn't walking to where I told her that he was. And so when me and Rocky get out of the water, I put on my dry clothes and he puts on his same clothes, and I go over there to where I thought his clothes would be, and they were there. So I grab his pants and his boots and
Was his cell phone?
I didn't see his cell phone, which I put his socks and his underwear and his boots and just grabbed his jeans, and then Rocky had his hat and his shirt, and so we walk over to my truck, and we put his stuff in my truck. And so they're still telling me that he's okay, he's just playing tricks on me, blah, blah. And so we leave. And when we leave, we go down the gravel road a little bit and come back, you know, back and forth.
What in your mind at that time, what was going through your mind?
I knew he wasn't okay. And I was like in complete shock.
Do you think that you were impaired to the point where, you know, I should have called 911 or I should have called somebody?
I told them that I wanted to go back to his house to talk to Leanne, and they talked me out of it because I was like in complete shock and I couldn't talk, nothing like that. And they told me that he was okay, that he was just messing with me because I made him mad and stuff like that. And then at one point they told me they saw him on the bank, you know, like across the river, like just right over there. And so eventually I kind of believed him, so that's whenever we left and went up and down the road to see if he was walking. And when we went down the road the first time, Rocky threw out 2 empty cans of Duster in the woods. And then when we come back, you know, we go back down to the sandbar and we put his clothes out right there on the sandbar. And still couldn't find him, nothing like that.
Where did y'all put his clothes at?
Like, whenever you drive down the sandbar, they were, like, right there. Like
in the road?
No, on the sandbar, like, right by the water. I say right by the water. They were not in the middle of the sandbar, but over to the left just a little bit. But that's where we had them.
Did at that time with cell phone, did you know where
I still hadn't seen it. I still thought he left it at home to charge.
You never saw him with it on that, mentioned it?
The only thing I saw was the light that he had. That was it.
No, Alright, so after y'all went and put his clothes back, what happened after that?
We left and went through Possum Valley. And then when we got to town, we went to Easy Mart by Piggy Sue's. And Rocky got a pack of cigarettes. And from there, we went to Rocky's.
What time do you think that y'all made it back to town?
It was a little after 2, probably like, I think when we were on like Possum Valley, Kinsley said something about it's already after 2 and it was like 2:06 or so. And anyways, Rocky got a pack of cigarettes and then we went straight to Rocky's after that. He got like half the pack of cigarettes because he went and got them, and then he went inside and we left, and then we went to Kinsley's, and I went inside and went to the bathroom, and she was in her room with Jody and Caleb, and
Jody and Caleb were at
Kinsley's house.
Who
and
are
her
they?
room.
Friends? Family?
I think Caleb's Kinsley's cousin or something, and Jody's Caleb's girlfriend. And
You know how old they are?
Caleb's 16 or 17.
What
I
about
think.
Jody?
She's probably 15. And then I walk into Kinsley's room and she's gathering clothes to go take a shower. And so she goes and takes a shower, and I get in the bed and smoke a cigarette. And then when she gets out of the shower, she comes in there and sits on the bed, and she pulls out this phone and puts it on charge. Didn't think anything of it. I didn't look at it really. I just saw her grab the phone out of the drawer and put it on her dresser. And then we smoke another cigarette, and Jody and Caleb goes into the living room and lays down, and then we just lay down and go to bed.
Did you ask her about the phone, whose it was, where it came from?
No, I just thought it was a phone that she had. I didn't think anything of it. And so the next day, I get up at like 1:40, and I had open house. So I left at like 2-ish or so and went home, and I got ready for open house, and the dude at the time that I just got out of a relationship with, and so we were still texting and stuff, so he came over for a little bit, and then he left and I went to open house, and I probably got back home at like 7:15ish because open house was over at 7.
Back to your house or Kinsley's?
Back to my house. And then I was there for a little bit and talked to Mom, and she let me leave and go back to Kinsley's. So when I get to Kinsley's, she meets me in the road and gets in my truck because she wasn't supposed to leave her house. So she met me in the road. And then we go down the road a little bit and turn around at somebody's driveway and come back, and we go to Keith's house because she has to give him this phone, the phone that she was charging the night before. And so Keith meets us in the yard, and we go inside, and she gives him this phone, and that was it. We were there 10, 15 minutes probably, and then we leave. And when we left, we went to Rocky's house, and he was drunk with his dad, so we were there maybe 10 minutes, if that, and then his girlfriend shows up, so he was fixing to leave. So then we leave, and we were on the way back to Kinsley's, and that's whenever we got a phone call from Mark, and so we get to Kinsley's, and we go tell her mom that we have to go to the courthouse to, talk about what happened and stuff, which her mom had no idea. And so we kind of filled her in about what was going on, and then we got here, and then we come upstairs, and I had to call my mom to come up here so I can give my statement, and that was it.
Tell me about the SIM card out of Ben's phone.
I don't know. Kinsley said that I chewed it up.
Why would she say that?
I don't know. I really don't know. I didn't know it was, I didn't know it was Ben's phone that she'd pulled out of a drawer, and I never saw a SIM card.
So that's not true?
That's not true.
So she just made that up? Why would she make that up?
I don't know. I don't know what all she said, but I know that I never chewed up any SIMS card.
You sure?
I never saw a SIMS card, I'm sure.
You tell me if you did.
Yeah, I would tell you. But I never saw a SIMS card.
That causes us concern. That somebody's telling us you did this and you're saying you did it.
I understand, but
Okay.
I never saw a SIMS card.
That's not normal. You know, if somebody would do that, it's like they're trying to hide something, okay? So if you did it, we need to know that today.
I didn't chew up a SIMS card.
Okay. So that's about it in a nutshell.
Yes, sir.
Why did you tell Leanne that you hadn't seen Ben or been with Ben?
Because I was still kind of panicked and I didn't know how to tell her. So, I mean, I told my mom the same thing. Because I told her that they couldn't find Ben, and she asked where he could possibly be, and I just kept telling her G's Landing. Because I didn't know really how to tell her. So,
That you eventually told her what happened?
not Leanne. Because I got told not to text her anymore. And
whenever you text her, you came clean, right?
the last thing that was said was she asked where Ben's phone was, and I was like, I don't know. And then before that, she was asking what happened. I told her I didn't see him. And then I told her that I did see him, but he was fine when I left.
That's kind of coming clean, right? Telling her what
Yeah, that I
happened.
saw him, but I didn't
Spit
tell
it
her.
out.
Okay,
Don't
but I
beat
didn't
around-
tell
don't
him.
beat around the bush.
I didn't tell her that
I'm so sorry. I did the best I could. I really blame myself. I'm so sorry from the bottom of my heart.
Well, I guess I don't.
Listen
I don't
to
really remember telling
before
her.
you go any farther, okay? Don't dig a hole for yourself, okay? I've already caught you in one lie about the SIM card. I know that happened, okay? You need to tell me why you did that, okay? Before you get yourself in any trouble, okay? Why did you do that? Help me understand before we go any further.
Kinsley just handed me a SIMS card, and
Mark, I gotta go now. You're gonna have to give me a break. I'm just go off.
No, you have to stay here. I've been dealing with this for a week more than anybody.
Tell me the truth,
I
okay?
am. I don't. She just
No,
handed me a SIMS
you're
card,
not.
and then she said that she was gonna give the phone to Keith, and so I chewed it up and I put it in a candle beside her bed. Whenever I got to chewing it up in two pieces, it's in a candle beside Kinsley's bed.
Why not just throw it in the trash or take a pair of scissors and cut it up? What would be the purpose of getting rid of a SIM card?
She just said she was gonna give it to Keith, so she handed me the SIMS card and said here, and she told me chew it up, so I chewed it up.
If somebody told you to go jump off a bridge, would you do it?
No.
Did that sound right? Somebody telling you to do this and you did it? There's got to be a reason why you do that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand, but she just
I need
said,
to know that reason, okay, Brady? I need to know it.
She just, okay, she had the phone, and she gave me a SIMS card and said she's giving the phone to Keith, and so she cleared it, and then she gave me the SIMS card and
Did
just,
she tell you that was Ben's phone?
Mhm.
Okay. Now we're getting somewhere, okay? I need to know that you're telling me the truth, because if you're not, then I can't believe anything you say, okay? You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
All right. Is there anything else I need to know about his phone? About
No,
reason
that
why
was really
getting rid
it.
of the SIM card? I mean, what would you get rid of? Because you want somebody to know that it was Ben's phone, or there's something
Well, we
on
didn't-
Ben's phone that somebody don't want to see?
No, there wasn't anything on Ben's phone. Like, the messages between me and him were simply Snapchats, which were him asking me to come see him and sending funny pictures back and forth, and Facebook Messenger was just of that night whenever he said, can you come see me? And I was like, I'll let you know in 5 minutes. And
I mean, Kinsley had to tell you something, reason why she was doing it, getting rid of his
she
phone.
just said that she was going to give it to Keith because Keith had been needing a phone. And
Didn't she think Ben was going to come ask for that phone or try to get it back and somebody could get in trouble?
we didn't really think about it. But then she gave me the SIMS card and told me to chew it up. So I chewed it up, and then she He said it. The phone.
Okay. So we have Ben's phone. I mean, if there's something on there, we're going to find it. Okay. Is there anything that you know of on there that's going to, say any wrongdoing towards anyone involved in this?
Mm-mm.
You sure that
I'm
you know
positive.
of? Okay.
Yeah, I know you'll have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in there whenever they did
We
that.
got people that can pull deleted messages, deleted photos, deleted video, everything off that phone that was there. Just because it's deleted doesn't mean that it's not there.
I know.
There's a hard drive. Okay. So as far as you know, there's nothing in there that
Not between me and Ben,
Or
Kinsley and
Kingsley
Ben.
or-
Well, Kinsley didn't know Ben.
Rocky,
Rocky
him and
didn't know
Rocky didn't
Ben.
get into it and nothing like that.
At the river? No.
Yeah. I
No.
mean, nobody did anything to Ben at the river that would cause his death.
No. The
I mean,
only
you,
contact that
Kinsley, or
happened,
Rocky.
like the only contact from person to person that happened, to Ben was whenever I grabbed his arm and picked his head up out of the water by.
I mean, you didn't hold him under the water. Nobody. You
No.
see anybody hold him under the water?
Oh,
Okay.
he was in the water with me. That's it.
Is there anything else that we need to clear up that,
That's it.
Okay. Do you have a phone?
Mhm.
Okay. You have it with you? What kind is it?
iPhone 6S Plus.
Okay. Yeah, that stuff between you and Leanne. I mean, I already knew that, about you coming clean with Leanne about what happened,
I mean, I still have the messages on my phone.
Yeah. I mean, why lie about that?
Well, because the last time I looked at it, I didn't think that I came clean about it. So I just, I don't know, I mean, they're all right here.
Right. Was it on Facebook or text?
It was on
Facebook?
Facebook.
So you have a Facebook account?
Yes, sir.
Would you have a problem with us, like, pulling up your Facebook? There wouldn't be anything on there that shouldn't be there?
No, Mom, no. My whole family's on my Facebook. There's nothing on there.
Okay. Because, I mean, there's so many stories going around that,
Yeah, I know.
that some guys beat him up because some drugs or, this or that and this. And so we want
Yeah,
to
there
look
was
at
one
everything.
where I took a crowbar to Ben's face, supposedly, with like 3 guys.
He's been shot, he's been stabbed, he's been
Yeah.
beat. I mean, whatever you can think of is out there.
Yeah.
Whose idea was it to take the cell phone?
I don't. Kinsley said that Rocky said take the phone, but I never heard Rocky say take the phone. So, I don't know.
In the vehicle, did you know if somebody took his phone?
Not at the time. I still thought he left it at home, and then whenever we get to Kinsley's, she told me that it was Ben's phone.
Did you know that he borrowed Kinsley's phone to call his mother?
I was standing right beside him, because he said she's just another Kristen Williams, and then said that he'd be home at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning.
Referring to you, so you knew who Kristen Williams was?
No, I don't know who that is. I just know that she's an ex. But he only said that right after Rocky kissed me. And so I figured, well, she's an ex, and Rocky just kissed me, so he's saying something bad about me. And the only reason why I know that Kristen's his ex is because Mason called me Thursday night, and I asked him who Kristen Williams was, and he said it was his ex.
Gotcha. You know what a polygraph test is, Brady?
No.
A lie detector.
Oh, yes.
You know what that is?
Mhm.
Would you be willing to take one if asked to show that you're being truthful and cooperating and all that?
Yeah.
You wouldn't have a problem with that?
No, sir.
Okay. I'm not saying today or anything like that. Maybe in the future. Okay?
But you can't respond like you did on that cell phone. How many times did I ask you about the SIM card?
Multiple.
You kept sticking to your story.
You got to be honest. That's the only way to go.
Yeah. You need to go back and read all the messages on your phone that Mama has sent you for the last 2 weeks. Read them carefully.
Because like I said, this is
Just
a
like your phone over
serious,
there, let me see.
a serious deal, okay? There's a 16-year-old young man. He's gone. He's not coming back to this earth. And this family needs some answers, okay? And we need to know that you Rocky or Kinsley didn't have any wrongdoing with his death, okay? And I'm not saying y'all did anything. We just need to know that y'all did it, okay? So if there's anything we need to know today, today is the day. Not 2 weeks from now, hey, I forgot to tell you something. No, you
That's
know.
it.
Okay.
Sign theirs on this one.
All right. We're going to conclude this interview August 19, 2016, 5:56 p.m.